Thank you for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Ephraim Graham. New details about the gunman behind the Washington Navy Yard massacre. Reports indicate he struggled with mental illness, hearing voices in the days leading up to the attack. That information is reviving the gun control debate, and the shooting is raising another big question. Are America's military bases vulnerable? A new report from the Pentagon says they are. There is something broken when it comes to security on U.S. military bases, and according to a new Pentagon report, it is the screening process for contractors. The report was underway even before the attack at the Washington Navy Yard, and the Inspector General found convicted felons routinely gained access to military facilities, just like Navy Yard shooter Aaron Alexis.
Mr. Alexis had legitimate access to the Navy Yard as a result of his work as a contractor, and he utilized a valid pass to gain entry to the building.
Alexis was first granted secret-level security clearance in 2008. Somehow he was able to keep that clearance, despite being discharged in 2011 and facing several run-ins with the law. Now Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel is ordering U.S. military installations around the world undergo security reviews. Lawmakers on the left are using the Navy Yard shooting to revive the debate over tougher gun control. President Obama is pushing for Congress to revisit gun control legislation. He says stricter laws could make the U.S. less vulnerable.
The fact that we do not have a firm enough background check system is something that makes us more vulnerable to these kinds of mass shootings.
But not everyone agrees, and some feel military bases are actually targets because service members are not allowed to carry weapons on base to protect themselves. Jessie Jane Duff of Concerned Veterans for America told CBN News more weapons might help.
However, I do feel that your senior level staff, non-commissioned officers, and your officers should be allowed to carry. It just would make sense.
The Navy Yard attack has prompted at least 3 new investigations into government and security background screenings from the Navy as well as the White House. Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff canceled a state visit to the U.S. next month over revelations the NSA spied on her government. Her decision is the latest fallout over the NSA spying programs around the world. A White House statement said President Obama has ordered a review of U.S. intelligence activities, but, quote, the process would take several months to complete. Some foreign analysts say the NSA surveillance programs and possible military action in Syria raise questions about Obama's standing in the world. House conservatives are announcing an alternative to Obamacare today. It is the first comprehensive response to the president's unpopular health care reform law. The proposal offers tax relief for those who purchase their own insurance. Individuals could claim a $7,500 deduction, while families could deduct up to $20,000. Meanwhile, Republican leaders in the House are considering using a stopgap spending bill to try and defund Obamacare. It is a move that could cause a government shutdown. The Democratic-controlled Senate is expected to remove any provision that denies money to Obamacare and send it back to the House. A family-owned Colorado company has won its fight for exemption from the Obamacare contraception mandate. A federal appeals court issued the order for Cherry Creek Mortgage on Tuesday. This is the latest round in the owners' battle against the mandate, which they say violates their religious beliefs. A federal district court had ruled against the business in May. The Alliance Defending Freedom responded to the recent ruling saying, quote, people in this nation, including business owners, have the constitutionally protected freedom to live and do business according to their faith. The Obama administration should not be attempting to deprive Americans of this cherished liberty. Turning now to economic news, President Obama says he will not negotiate over the extension of the debt ceiling. That as the U.S. faces another possible government shutdown. The president says Republicans will cause economic chaos if the budget is delayed over Obamacare funding demands.
The problem is, at the moment, Republicans in Congress don't seem to be focused on how to grow the economy and build the middle class.
Republican leaders want spending cuts, but also say they are willing to negotiate. House GOP leaders hope to make a decision this week on a temporary spending measure. Montana Democratic Senator Max Baucus is trying to simplify the tax code. Political and business leaders agree the code is complicated for individuals and too burdensome for businesses. Baucus is working with his Republican counterpart in the House, Dave Camp of Michigan. Baucus talked about the effort as the Montana Job Summit opened Monday, with several thousand politicians, business people, and academics in attendance. Business leaders agree reforming the tax code would help America better compete in the global economy. Rescue helicopters continue to search for hundreds of people still unaccounted for in Colorado. Members of FEMA's Swiftwater Search and Rescue Team have been taking action, going door to door searching for survivors. The rain has stopped, but emergency workers are still warning people in the region not to venture into rapid water. Many homes still have water surrounding them, and they've been cut off from roads and essential services. Meanwhile, many survivors are turning to another daunting task, the long process of cleanup and rebuilding. Charlene Israel has more on the efforts to help them and how Christians are pulling together.
The buzz of propellers can be heard over Colorado. 21 helicopters taking advantage of the clear skies to fan out over the mountainsides, looking for those still needing help.
There's about 1,000 residents that are up in the various isolated areas in need of evacuation.
More than 11,000 people have been evacuated, and about 19,000 homes damaged or destroyed.
We basically had a waterway through our house.
Local churches in Boulder County are banding together to help victims. Church members are doing everything from cleaning the uniforms of the National Guard crews to cleaning out damaged homes.
It's not even the fact that we're even making a huge dent and shoveling mud out of somebody's basement. It's just that they're not doing it alone. They feel loved. They know that these churches aren't here just to use and abuse their city, but they're here to serve their city.
If we want our light to shine the brightest, it's not about somehow amplifying our spiritual wattage, but it's about taking the light of God that we have to darker places. And these kind of tragedies present that unique opportunity for us as the church, as the body of Christ, to carry God's light to the places that are in the most need.
Operation Blessing is working with the churches. OB crews are providing much-needed cleanup supplies, as well as prescriptions, diapers, and baby formula.
You guys have been in so many different situations and disasters, and this is our first round. So we are so thankful for the wisdom that would come from Operation Blessing and organizations like yours that would bring relief.
Volunteers are also offering emotional and spiritual support through prayer. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
You can find out more about Operation Blessing and what you can do to help in its relief efforts by visiting our website, cbnnews.com. Sadly, some Colorado churches have suffered great losses from the flooding. The Bible Baptist Church of Erie was flooded 3 times in 3 days. But each time, members of the congregation and strangers came together to help recover as much as they could from the muddy waters.
The water was, it may have been about right in here on Thursday. But the Friday morning flood came up to here. I have said over and over and over and that the church is not this building. The church is the people and the heart and soul of people. And we can have church in this parking lot or in that building out there. It doesn't make any difference where we meet. And Jesus says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'll be in the midst of them. Peter says the trial of our faith is much more precious than gold.
And the trial is strengthening their faith. The pastor said he has been blessed by people who have showed up to help. Even this little girl showed up with her little broom. She did her best to help out. Catholic schools in a Wisconsin diocese will no longer make field trips to a research center that uses embryonic stem cells. The Wisconsin Institute for Discovery does research using human embryos. The Vatican opposes that practice. The Madison Diocese issued a letter stating that the research opposes Catholic teaching. It also said any planned visit to the center should be canceled and schools should pursue other means of meeting educational goals. The center offers workshops for middle and high school students to work with live human stem cells. Well, coming up, they are told they're worthless, but one group of Christians says the opposite is true. How Johnny and friends are ministering to the disabled overseas.
Hi, my name is Breda. I'm just your typical 9-year-old. I love singing, dancing, reading, discovering the simple truth. My grandpa says you're never too young or old to learn the value of a dollar. He taught me the true value of this paper dollar. You see this little gold coin? It says $1 on it. But guess what? That was a long time ago. Today, this gold dollar is worth over 100 paper dollars. This paper dollar is now only worth 1 penny compared to America's former money, the gold dollar. My grandpa says the only money worth saving today is real money, gold or silver coins. He's pretty smart. How our paper dollars lost their value, he says. It's all explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. It's easy and fun to read. If you call the number on the screen, I will send you a copy totally free. Next time, I will explain the simple truth about money.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
Where are we? I cannot log in on our time or location.
Amazing. Which tribe is he from?
You want the savior of the world to be born in a stable?
History's in the making, mister.
Do you want it or not?
Daniel, you have to listen to us.
And who might you be?
You're in great danger.
Master! Master! We are about to drown! Why are you fearful?
I say to you, arise.
I have been healed!
Kidnappers released an unharmed Nigerian Archbishop they've been holding for more than a week. Archbishop Ignatius Katie is the head of the Anglican Church in southern Nigeria. He and his wife were abducted near their home in Port Harcourt on September 6th. His wife was let go a few hours later, but the kidnappers held the Archbishop for ransom. Police say they were closing in on the kidnappers when the Archbishop was suddenly released. No ransom was paid. Reverend Katie is described as being in stable condition. Well, life is slowly returning to normal in a major southern Philippine city that's been mired in a hostage standoff with Muslim rebels. Zamboanga is now in its 10th day of the crisis. Fighting is easing, but some rebels are still holding out. Tuesday, the Moro National Liberation Front captured the police chief. He was later let go and unharmed. About 40 rebels are still holding some 20 hostages in the area. More than 86 rebels have been killed and 93 captured, while 14 soldiers and 7 civilians have died in the fighting. A CBN team is in the region helping the victims.
A CBN disaster relief team drove 22 hours to Zamboanga City to help feed more than 15,000 evacuees there. Everyone is urged to pray for a peaceful solution to end the fighting, and hopefully this will be soon.
About 100,000 people have been displaced in the city as a result of the fighting. The special needs of children with disabilities are often ignored in developing countries. They are the discards of society. That's why a U.S. ministry has sent interns to Africa, so they'll become better advocates for people with disabilities. Heather Sells tells us more.
Katie Dickey suffers from spinal muscular atrophy, but that doesn't keep her from competing in wheelchair soccer or working on a college degree. And it didn't keep her from coming to rural Uganda. Katie traveled to Africa with a small group of interns organized by the Johnny and Friends Ministry.
When the children see me in a wheelchair, see me, even though we look different, we have the same way to get around. And I truly believe that God has opened so many doors for me to connect with these children on a heart level.
The team connected with more than 100 children at a special needs school in Uganda's capital, Kampala. They encouraged teachers and worked with children in the classroom. The volunteers came to realize that these kids are the fortunate ones, as students told them of other children living in far more difficult situations.
And they talked about the children with disabilities in the villages that are sometimes locked away or killed for their disability, and they realized how blessed they are and what an impact God has had in their lives.
As the interns ventured out to rural areas, they met Francis Munyiga, whose family was killed by rebels. Francis lives alone in a dark hut and repairs shoes to support himself.
It was really heartbreaking hearing his story and hearing all the things he's been through, losing his family and the isolation of disability and not having anyone to really support him or love him.
The interns gave Francis a battery-powered lantern to light up his home. They also connected him with a church that cares for disabled people.
And being in a church where he was welcomed and people, I mean, they welcomed him in and celebrated him. I think that was just life-changing for him to see God's people loving on him.
Many Ugandans with disabilities have been told they are worthless, a shame, and a burden to their families. But the visiting team brought a different message, that every person has value. They prayed for them and loved them. They also shared practical caregiving tips with family members. Back at the school, the volunteers spent time one-on-one with students and taught them Bible stories and songs.
The children here are just like the children back home. They just want to be loved and just to spend time together. There was one little boy who I got to talk with, and he was telling me about how his parents just left him on the side of the road. And he asked me if I could look for his parents when I went back home to America. And I told him that my parents did the same thing, and I didn't know my parents. And it was okay because me and two of the other friends that were with us, that we loved him and that Jesus loved him and that everything was going to be okay.
Johnny and friends hope that taking interns overseas will motivate and equip them for missions and for advocacy for people with disabilities around the world.
They always say that, you know, we want God to break our heart for what breaks his, and that's what's happening up here in northern Uganda. And I see these families and these parents, grandparents that have they've not taken the easy way out. They have decided that their child means something to them. Their child with a disability has value in their eyes and in God's eyes.
Heather Sells, CBN News.
Up next, a mystery on the high seas. Hundreds of dolphins are washing ashore. So what's killing these dolphins? We'll investigate after this.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans. with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
A growing number of drug-resistant superbugs are urgent threats to public health in the United States. That's a warning from the Centers for Disease Control. Two of the worst threats include gonorrhea that's resistant to antibiotics and a bug that causes potentially life-threatening diarrhea. The bugs have been developing more resistance to drugs over time, and future drugs may also not be effective. Across the East Coast, dolphins have been dying at an alarming rate. Hundreds are washing ashore, and marine biologists are scrambling to examine them. One of the things they want to know, are humans in danger? Mark Martin investigates.
It's an ominous sight. This large male bottlenose dolphin lies dead on the Virginia coast, while other dolphins swim by, potential victims of what's been declared by scientists as an unusual mortality event in the mid-Atlantic region. Since early July, strandings of bottlenose dolphins have jumped from New York to North Carolina.
Let's get a picture of his teeth while he's here. They're really worn.
In fact, for the months of July and August, these strandings were more than 9 times the historical average, reaching a total of 430 through September 2nd.
He might have some lesions. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Once they decompose, it can be a lot harder to see it.
When they end up on the Virginia shores, the aquarium stranding response team recovers the dolphins and transports them to the Marine Animal Care Center in Virginia Beach. That's where marine biologists perform what's called a necropsy to determine the cause of death.
To give you a better idea of the magnitude of the crisis here, on average in July of each year, the Virginia Stranding Response Team recovers around 6 to 7 dolphins. In July of this year alone, they recovered just shy of 50.
We examine the entire animal, outside and inside. So we do an external exam to look for any signs of human interaction. But we also look inside to see if there are any unusual pathologies. One thing we've been seeing are oral lesions on the animal, so lesions around the mouth, and internally. The lungs seem to be an affected organ, lots of lesions in the lungs, although there's been some variability with what we see.
We're taking a ton of samples.
And these samples are shipped all over the country to different labs.
Yep.
Susan Barco is the research coordinator for the Virginia Aquarium and Marine Science Center. Migratory patterns cause a great number of bottlenose dolphins to make their way into the waters off the coast here.
We have a lot of dolphins here, and we think that that's the reason why we've had so many strandings. If this disease is affecting a certain percentage of the population, if you have more dolphins, then you would expect to see more strandings.
But what's killing them? Barco says research shows it's the naturally occurring morbillivirus, which is related to the virus that causes the measles in humans.
Once the morbillivirus gets into the coastal population, the animals are very social, and it's relatively easy for transmission to occur. Just when animals are near each other, one breathes out, another breathes in, when they have contact with each other.
And if humans come into contact with the dolphins, Barco says the morbillivirus itself is not a zoonotic disease, which means that it cannot be transferred between animals and humans. But people are not totally in the clear. She explains that not all the dolphins are dying strictly from the morbillivirus. It weakens their immune system, and they get other infections such as fungal and bacterial, which can affect humans.
So we do want to be very careful around these animals. What they're dying from or what they're catching is in the water. And so anybody that has a compromised immune system or an open wound should be careful when they're swimming in the ocean anyway, and certainly shouldn't be near these animals.
Right now, there is no way to prevent the spread of the virus among dolphins, and no vaccines or antiviral medications. The last major die-off of this kind happened in the late 80s. That event in 1987-88 depleted the coastal migratory bottlenose dolphin subpopulations by half. And that makes scientists very concerned about this year.
We've already in Virginia surpassed the number of animals that were estimated to have died in the 1987-88 die-off. And we still have several months of time to go that dolphins are in this area. So understanding how these animals are affected by this mass die-off is really important.
These are everyone's animals. Marine mammals are protected by the Marine Mammal Protection Act, but they're protected because they're everyone's animals. And they're a higher species in the food chain in the ocean, so when there's something wrong with them, it's usually an indication that we should look at our ocean as a whole, to see if there's anything wrong.
The 87-88 die-off lasted 18 months. Scientists feared this event could last that long as well. Mark Martin, CBN News, Virginia Beach.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music. It's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book, his words shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna drag her back home?
Yeah, I might. I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG, in theaters October 4th.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music. It's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book, his words shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna drag her back home?
Yeah, I might. I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG, in theaters October 4th.
Sometimes it takes a little creativity to parent teenagers. One Utah father recently proved that while teaching his daughter about modesty. Scott McIntosh realized his lessons weren't getting through. 19-year-old Miley even refused to wear longer shorts to a weekly family night. That's when the father of 7 decided to let his actions do the talking by dressing to match.
I know it sounds weird to try to embarrass her, and I wanted her to know that she's of great worth. Modest is hottest.
What this father did was an excellent way to get this message across.
I mean, they don't want to see this 52-year-old fat guy walking around in short shorts.
Images of Scott and his shorts went viral within a day. Miley says her dad got his point across. Well done, Dad, but ouch, I tell you. That's going to do it for CBN News today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you join us again right here next time. Make it a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith.
highlight your favorite verse, read separate versions at a glance, click and read a commentary, or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.